The this endurance race where you can catch up. So head on over there and make sure you say hello, because that is Fizzy in control, not myself. But yeah, we can continue the food talk on that one. I'm just going to make sure that Fizzy's keeping an eye on the race as well.
On that note, I am here, Chinson, and we are all good to go on the other end, so...
Okay, so on that note, everybody who's watching part 1, please go and hop across to the one in chat. I've just disconnected from Pitwall so that you can log into it, Fizzy. And yeah, hop on over there. That is where the stream will continue. And Fizzy, Tim, and Benny will see you out for a good few hours.
Yes. Thank you ever so much for your work, mate. It's been amazing.
No worries at all. Yes, I can, Fizzy. I will send that across for you. So yeah, just head on over to the second one, and yeah, I will be ending it very, very shortly.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a rough start here for me, trying to get back into the box here. But now that I am talking, I see it. How's everyone doing today? You know.
Well, real quick, just to start off part 2 of the stream, we've got some stewards inquiries coming through here, Fizzy. We've got the incident involving cars 6 and 57. That's the Vanwall SimSport car, and also the Assault Squad car. It looks like the car number 6 has been given a 5-second time penalty for ignoring blue flags. There's also been an incident for car 370 and 48, and 10-second time penalty has been applied to car number 48 for causing a collision. And then also one last one, cars number 920 and 57. 57, the Vanwall SimSport car again, and the 920. That's the Armentario Skidded Off Racing. It looks like car number 68 was been given a 10-second time. I'm sorry, car number 920 has been given a 5-second time penalty for dive bombing the corner and causing a collision.
All right, I also have some news for you guys. I'm looking at the top right of my screen with the weather update. Are we seeing that heavy rain?
We are definitely seeing heavy rain. Yeah, 100% in the next 30 minutes.
And it's going to be cloudy at 10.
I'll leave you gentlemen on with the weather. I hope you enjoy the rest of the race. To everybody watching, thank you for sticking with me for the start of it. I will keep tabs on the race as I go. But yeah, I shall bid you all a nice day.
Thank you very much, mate. Amazing work.
Yep, great job, Jensen.
Excellent job, Jensen. And yeah, I do see the weather. We've had a bit, just to update you two on the weather, we had the rain start in the formation lap, and then it dried out 5 minutes into the race with overcast conditions. And then we got light rain about 50 minutes into the race, into heavy rain for about a half hour's time, and then the track dried, and then the sun came out, and that's where we're at right now. So the wet conditions really tripped up quite a few of the vehicles, especially since the track was ever changing. But yeah, rain in 30 minutes. The weather has been as unpredictable as you would expect in the British countryside.
Yeah, the thing is, there may be people sat at home and they might be thinking, that isn't realistic weather to change that quickly. In the UK, it really is. It really is, especially this time of year. It's a mixture of lovely blue skies, blisteringly cold wind, and torrential rain all over the place. So if anyone's questioning it from other parts of the world and thinking this seems a little bit ridiculous, no, that's what we deal with on a daily basis. That's why most British people wear coats and look miserable all the time.
I will say we get a little bit of the same in Pennsylvania. They do say sometimes, especially now and then also into fall, early fall especially, you can get 4 seasons in a day. Yeah, it looks like just those penalties outstanding. So we're trying to see where the closest battles on track have been, and there's been quite a bit of the shifting. The 177 down in 25th, they've had quite a bit of an eventful race, to say the least. But Stockton, by the way, the Team Snell Esports car, number 46, up into P8. This is a car that was really in the top 10 at the start of the race, and then kind of fell back a little bit towards the midfield after the first round of pit stops, especially with the constantly changing weather, and now it's found its way back to P8.
It's always good to see drivers be able to fight back, or in this case teams be able to fight back from early misfortunes. Now, I'm sure we're going to see plenty more of those kind of stories considering the upcoming weather that we have, and I'm sure if we're only 3 hours into the race, it's already been as chaotic as you've mentioned, and it's going to get even more chaotic. Then I think we are in for definitely a special treat. As for how it's gone today, I know I saw actually one clip, so I haven't really been able to watch much this morning as well. But I saw a clip. We had one of the cars, one of the it wasn't the goat racing car, sorry. Car number, I forget the number, number 7, did a complete barrel roll and stuck the landing early on.
Yep. Star Fox 64 at its absolute finest.
Yes. So that's the only clip I've seen so far. But we do have, it looks like the 87 car in the pits as well. Hopefully not for a scheduled pit stop based off of what we're seeing coming up. But yeah, should be interesting these next 30 minutes with everything coming up. But we still have it looks like 49 runners, sorry, with one team retiring. So pretty good so far, 3 hours into the race, it seems.
Yeah, that retirement, by the way, Stan, and sorry, I didn't know you want to jump in, Luna, but that retirement, or I'm sorry, Tim, but it was actually a disqualification. They lost the brakes coming into the pit lane and spun full speed in the pit lane. It's actually sideways when they crossed the pit speed line, and then had to actually reverse around to get the car pointed in the right direction. And the game was just absolutely unforgiving to them. So gave him the old disqualification. So that was the FACC joins Victoria's Secret number 74 car with Jean-Paul Ribeiro and Diego Zamora being disqualified, black flagged out of the race.
Always a shame to see guys go that way, but again, it's one of those things. I've obviously just left it a bit too late on the brakes. You know, it is 9 hours. You've got time to maybe just relax into it slightly. It's not a sprint race, but it's very easy to get caught up in the mad dash racing. I was just having a little look through the difference in the guys that how they qualified and then how they've got on. So, car number 58 down in 5th. Are they on a different pit strategy, Benikage, or is that just the case of they slowly drop down through the order?
Car number 58, you said?
Yeah, I believe it's car number 58. Currently being driven by Van der Velde. I believe they qualified on pole, didn't they? Because that was Marlon Andrade
Yes.
in the BMW.
Qualified on pole by less than, I think, a tenth. It was like a few hundredths of a second. No, overtaken by that 869 on the opening lap. And then just kind of fell off the pace a little bit, really. They just kind of been hanging back there for much of the race. 5th is about where we've seen them. After they lost the top spot, after the first round of pit stops, they actually came out in 3rd, I believe it was, and then they just slipped back into 4th on pace. So now, after the last round of pit stops, kind of sitting down there in 5th position. So that's just kind of been their story, is that they have been a little bit of a step off. But, you know, 5th place, if you look at their actual, not their Super Bowl times, but their average qualifying times, that is probably very respective of the pace they've shown.
Yeah, I recognise the all 3 of those names, I believe, are from the Tier 2 Sprint Cup series. They're in my group. I definitely recognise York and Marlon. I'm sure Van der Velde was in 2 as well. So those guys, say they're normally Tier 2 drivers in the Sprint Cup, and there's a lot of Tier 1 guys here. Obviously, you know, a couple of big names, obviously, that we see online. Well, there's Hyler's up there at the moment. Obviously, I've seen Honzik. Yeah, he's in here as well. Boothby. Malinowski as well. That's a monstrous team in that 869 Ferrari. So yeah, I'm not, and Samir as well. Sorry, I didn't even realize he was in that car as well. That's a monstrous team. No wonder they're on pole. Those boys are unbelievably quick, it has to be said. So yeah, I'm not surprised to see those guys. And that's obviously the Van Wall Sim Sport car. No, that's not. That is the. I'm looking at the wrong name.
Cat Clown Fiesta Esports.
The one.
Yeah.
Oh, I know the livery now. Yes.
One story that I've kind of, it's been, I guess you could say it's a solo campaign of mine. Absolutely, you can write it as that. But taking a look at, if you're looking at the timing sheets, the car number 213, the PDC Motorsports number 213, qualified P4 in the Super Bowl. They're running P22. They got caught up in a really, really bad incident on the opening lap, and fell down into, I think it was P40 or P41, and have been on quite a bit of the recovery drive, it has to be said. Joe McCauley now in the car for his 2nd stint so far. They've cycled through all their drivers already, and they fought that car back, including taking a time penalty. I believe it was a 10 or a 15-second time penalty that they got, but despite all that, have fought back to P22 in that Ferrari.
Definitely good
Luckily,
resilience there.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, definitely good resilience there by the 213 Ferrari, being able to fight back up there. But you know, long race to go. We'll see if they can keep climbing up, Tim.
I mean, the PCDC Motorsports boys, they came 2nd overall in the last season of the endurance Endurance Championship, and there was only 10 points between them, so between them and first. So it really did come down to the wire. I think actually it came down to I think a fueling incident at Bathurst. Actually, I think was the sort of hammer in the coffin, and it meant that they weren't going to win. I say the Clown Fiesta Esports team. I don't think they were in last season, so they've come here. They're essentially, well, they're very much old names within the community, but a new team. Just trying to have a little look, see who is teams that are recognised from last season. Obviously, Vanwall Simsport, again, big old names. Oh, and a bit of an incident going on between them and one of the Aston Martins at the moment. There's Dennis Latz, I think, at the wheel, trying to go up the inside of one of the Astons. I believe that's the battle for third place actually going on. Yeah, I think he just taken away third position. There was a little bit of a rub a few corners ago, but nothing too major. Luckily, no one actually got caught up and no one spun. So happy days in that respect. I'm just having a little look through the rest of these teams. Obviously, good to see the H7K Racing guys back again. There's just dozens of teams this year, and everyone's had a good old switch around of the different positions in different teams. So taking a little while to work out who's on what team again.
Yeah. Just something to note, just a few quick battles. Obviously, you mentioned the one for P3. You got Stockton and Brophy pretty close to each other for P8. Stockton trying to hold that McLaren in for 8th position. But also, you've got down in P16, Erdman, Hamling, Rizzo, all very close to each other. And Hamling, that lovely pink Ram racing car, has been under a lot of pressure from the cars behind. In fact, that's the only Audi we have in the field, that 115, putting a lot of pressure, and has been kind of behind that Mercedes of Hamling for a while. So just a few close battles to keep an eye on for now.
I mean, if you are that 115 car, you definitely got to be a little frustrated if you've been stuck behind Mercedes for a while, which is going to be really quick in a straight line. Not to say the Audi isn't a slouch, but look up there in P10. We have our current class leader in the silver class, a few positions up, and is pulling away as a result. So the 115 might be thinking more so, maybe not just like, trying to battle these cars around it, but maybe thinking, as there's a car way off in the background there. I don't know if anyone else saw that. Yeah, it's rejoining the track. Looks like one of the Vanwall Simsport cars had a little bit of a moment there. But the 115 is probably thinking about that silver class lead right now, as they started, I believe, 25th. And they are currently, up a few spots. But that 77 car who started down in 26, the Celtic Bromance skirt car, currently having a very good race. So it's not just Celtic Bromance, they are the skirt team. So that's a very lovely name now that I'm looking at through some of these teams' names. So some very interesting stuff.
I'm sure the sister car is called Brum Brum or something like that. So there's Skirt and Brum Brum. I'm sure the sister car's got a slightly different name, which is, again, is just a fantastic way of knowing what teams you're on. I think Beaver Grease have gone. There's the Beaver Grease Racing, and then there's Beaver Grease Extra Greasy.
Yeah, there is.
Yeah, and then there's other ones. I think the Beeswax Racing is, like Pollen in Love with You, and all these different things. I remember having a good old look through. I was absolutely laughing my head off.
That 77, by the way, has had a really fantastic race, starting in 26th, and just after the incidents that has caught up a lot of these cars, it found itself in a battle with a platinum class car for P9, and P8, I should say. Actually overtook the platinum class car, and now it's only slid back 2 positions through 2 rounds of pit stops. So the 77, Remy Papin right now, that team is having an absolutely fantastic drive.
I'm trying to think. Remy Papin rings a bell. I don't remember because I was a driver in the previous season, and I believe he was one of our competitors, and he was just really quick. I might be wrong, but Remy Papin rings a bell. He's a very quick driver, so not surprising to see the 77 car having success. But it's safe to say that at this point in time, you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of success. Also, weather update for you guys. Now, 30 minutes away, it says it's going to be lighter rain. So by the looks of it, within a 20-minute span, which isn't going to start for at least another 10 minutes, it's going to go from sunny to light rain to very heavy rain back to light rain. I wonder if it's going to be a quick little rain shower that's going to come in force everyone onto wets, and then dry right back up. So I think it's about to get really interesting. See if maybe anyone tries to run more of a greasy tire, assuming how the rain is, everyone goes for any kind of like a risk in the strategy there. You know, it is early on, of course, with 6 hours left to go. So, you know, high risk, high reward. But man, if I was a driver right now looking at that weather forecast coming up, I'd be scratching my head right now on what to do.
I was just having a quick look through the lap times that were put through for qualifying by that car number 77. And actually, like, overall, they've got 4 drivers, and they had 2 guys that were within the 157s, and then they had a mid 158 and a mid 159. So I almost wonder that I think they've obviously got 2 really fast drivers, 2 slightly slower drivers, which is probably what is putting them into that silver class, and obviously also running the 4 drivers. So I wonder if, at the moment, we've got the really fast boys in there. We've obviously got Papin in there at the moment. I can't currently see exactly who has set that time, but I'm gonna sort of, at the moment, I'm scrolling through billions of spreadsheets that I've got on the go. It's a complete mess. Doesn't help that I'm incredibly dyslexic when trying to look through all these numbers. Quick look at the YouTube chat. We've got a shout out. How are Goat Racing Team? How are they getting on? I believe that is car number. I saw it a moment ago. Oh, there's 2 of them. Okay. Right. Racing
999 is one, and 444 is the other.
There we go. See, you know better than I do. Amazing.
So that's the team I normally race with whenever I'm driving. So we got the 999 currently running in 34th. That team is comprised of, I gotta remember which 3 it is. They're gonna hate me for it if I get it wrong. But it's, right now you have Erzkabel, who is our coordinator for this event. So thank you very much for coordinating it. Currently running in the BMW. And along with the team, oh, this is going to really make me annoyed because I just talked.
I got it. You want me to take it? I got it. Erzkabel, Dejan Jokic, Jasper van Ruiten, and Christian Benz, who are in that 999.
All right, so that's that team. So the 2 car has Christian Benz, who is teammates with the 1 car, who is Richie B, Richard Benz, currently running in the Goat Racing number 1 car. Where are they out of the grid right now? They have Daniel Vanderland, Raining Thunder, who is full of sand, and last but not least, Richie B currently. They are running 31st up on the grid in the 444 car, a couple positions ahead of their sister team with that very ugly livery that they got going on. But I can say that because I know these guys, and they're just here having a blast, and like so many other people on the grid. So
yeah, the 999 got caught up in a collision earlier with a 26, got a 10-second time penalty for it, but the 444 has had a relatively clean race.
Also in the chat, Matt Cooley says he also drives for that 7-7 car that's currently running in 10th, and he says that he's a good second off of Remy's pace. I have a feeling, I knew Remy was a really quick driver, but I think, Tim, you nailed it right on the head in the fact that they got a team of mixed drivers, and, you know, there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, having some really quick guys and some slower guys. And, yeah, to confirm the weather situation now, 10 minutes till rain, 30 minutes from now, it'll be sunny again. So this is a quick shower, so I wonder if anyone's going to try to stick it out on dries, because if you can somehow manage through that rain to avoid losing a whole pit stop's worth of time, you know, it could pay off dividends, but at the same time, it could be disastrous.
Tim, I got a question for you, mate.
Sorry, my mic was muted. I had to mute my mic for 2 seconds. I do apologise. That was entirely my bad. I was desperately trying to get back to the screen and I just couldn't get it to pop up in time. Yes, you got a question for me.
Yeah. Are you in agreement with what I told Shenson earlier, in that the full English is probably the best breakfast anyone could ever have?
Oh yeah, 100%. There's just no question about it. It's the daddy of all breakfasts.
We have to have Fizzy get a full English then. Fizzy needs to experience the full English.
Yeah, you do. I mean, now right, this could cause a major argument because everybody. You've got to remember, obviously, just the UK is quite a small place, but you only have to drive about 30 minutes, and the accent is totally different, and everything changes. How people have food changes wherever you go. But I would say, like, you know, 100%. You've got to have toast or fried bread, either or. In my opinion, that is absolutely fine. I'd say you've got to have baked beans with your breakfast, mushrooms, grilled tomatoes, bacon, sausage. But the bacon's going to be the hard bit because bacon in the UK is very different to bacon in America. We tend to go for much more sort of flappy, softer bacon. I'm trying to think. I'm going to get rinsed in the chat in a minute. Someone is going to tell me that I've messed up and missed something out. Hash browns are a good thing to have.
Already, it's different than the full English I've had, so I'm interested to see what's rest on this plate.
Oh, black pudding needs to be on there. I mean, what did you have on your breakfast?
So I had rashers. They called it rashers, but the big like slices of bacon, like not the thin strips we have in America, the big like patty bacon almost.
Yeah, big black bacon. Yeah.
Baked beans on toast. Obviously black pudding and white pudding, sausage, and I can't. Oh my goodness me! There is something else on there besides that. I can't remember. Scrambled eggs were in there, obviously.
Yeah, you can either go scrambled, poached, or fried eggs, whichever you feel. So really, you can kind of go for any egg, but yeah, you do need an egg on there. I'm trying to think of anything else.
I didn't have the mushroom or the tomato, but I'm not a fan of either, so I'm okay with that.
That's fair enough. I mean, lots of people don't like the mushroom and the tomato. I'm a dustbin when it comes to food. Anything that you put in front of me, I will consume it. So, yeah, there's not much I won't eat. But yeah, I think the full English is something you have to give it a go. Have to give it a little try. And I know baked beans, especially I know in America, is seen as quite an obscure thing to have at breakfast time. But 100%, do that with a nice cup of tea, big dollop of brown sauce. Mwah, perfection.
See, this is where my American kicks in because, I mean, that doesn't sound bad per se. Don't get me wrong. It sounds good. But my ideal breakfast, because I'm a huge breakfast guy, I love a very good New Jersey, New York bagel, egg and cheese.
Yes. Okay. With pork roll?
Yeah.
Please tell me
it can be pork roll / Taylor ham, depending on what part of New Jersey you are. I love that as well. Like, basically most breakfast meats, I'll take on it. But there's just something about the bagels you get from that area that just, you know, makes them out of this world. And so I love a good breakfast sandwich. I like my egg like over medium as well, a little runny. And yeah, that's what for me is a really good breakfast. And now we're not going to stop making you guys hungry in the chat because frankly, I just ate breakfast and I'm making myself hungry again. So we have a nice battle for P7 or 16 on the screen though, by the way. But yeah, we're just not gonna you know stop talking about food because food is just awesome and it's too good not to. Here as Michelle Rizzo, excuse me, goes for a move around the outside of the 48 car. Doesn't make it stick though, as it starts.
We're back to the food talk in a minute, but we've had an update from Race Control, by the way. 2 inquiries have come through. The 760 and the 122 have had an incident, and the stewards have addressed that a 122 will get a 10-second time penalty for causing a collision. That 122 is down in. Oh, blimey! I've just lost it. I just lost where the 122 is.
The 122 is the car that got retired, I believe. It says down in 50th for me.
Yeah, it looks like it's in. It looks like it's retired. Yeah, it has because you can't select it, so that car is no longer in the server.
Okay, and then also there's been an incident between the 57 and the 23 where a 15-second time penalty has been applied to the 23 for causing a collision on a lapped car. He's also received 2 license points for that. So. That is what car is that? The number 151.
The 57's running P4 right now. That's Dennis Slats in the Van Wall Sim Sport.
The 23 is the one that got the penalty.
Okay. The 23. I actually don't see where they're at the moment as well.
Did they update the car on the server to the 22? It was off on the sheet. The sheet had it as the 22, but I saw it on the server as the 23. I'm trying to find it currently.
Oh, quick one. It's now changed. That 10-minute weather has now changed to hard rain again. So we might get a real big hard shower for 10 minutes. That's going to be pretty interesting. Sorry, I do apologise I know we were looking for that number 22.
No, that's good.
But yeah, that could really change things up. Like you were saying, someone could try and stick it out and try and stay on the dries, but the longer you risk it, it's. I mean, if it's only going to be 10 minutes. I think it's probably going to be better to stay on dries, because obviously the track temp still 26 degrees. Might just be better to just drop the pace off a little bit. But when sort of how wet the track is and how good your setup is in the wet, I mean, some of these guys can probably hold it together on slicks in the wet, and if it's only for a short period of time, they can get away with it. But as these guys that are closely battling, it's going to be a real hard call. I think it's going to be whoever's leading the pack will be the one to make the decision to come into pits. No one chasing is going to pit before the car in front of them. Otherwise, you're just risking losing that position immediately.
Here's the interesting thing. So I'm speaking from experience there. It wasn't last season. It was one of the individual endurance races. We had a kind of a weather formation like this where it dry, it went heavy rain, and dry again. We tried to have our drivers stick out on the slick tires, and it did not work at all. So honestly, I think it's better to play it safe than sorry, put on the wets and bite the bullet, because the rain gets so heavy. It's supposed to get really heavy, and in that moment, in those 5 minutes of insanely heavy rain, if you just don't have any of the grip, you know, that could be make or break for your race. You could go just completely miss a braking point, go right off into the grass, take a minute and a half to recover. There's your pit stop, that, you know, that the time lost there, and then you still have to re-get grip on the car with those slicks. I think the smart move is going to be to go for those wet tires. Now, as the rain has started, you can see here it comes, and it's coming down pretty hard right now, guys.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I would say I would agree with you. By the way, I would say you definitely want to get the wet tires on the last, especially if you're the number 720 car or the number 46 car. Because Fizzy, I gotta admit, the last thing you want to be is a McLaren in wet conditions on dry tires.
Speaking of that, I think did car number 46 just saw a yellow flag for 46, so he's gone off recently. What happened there? I'm just going to jump on a replay on my screen and see if I can see what happened. So yeah, car number 46, that McLaren. What's happened here? Coming into, I believe this is Maggots and Beckett's. Yeah. Oh, the car just stepped out on him. Yeah, came over the curb. It's wet track now, and immediately the car spun. So didn't hit anything and managed to get away with it reasonably easily. But that's lost him quite a bit of track time, and I think already the wet starting to affect that McLaren.
I mean,
we've had a request in the chat, by the way, if you can put the
that
gaps
is
up.
What I am looking for to do. What is the keybind? I was trying to figure it out my own by hitting buttons.
It should be I.
Yeah, you are I. Sometimes
right. That's what I meant to do. I do apologize very much for not having that up sooner. But yeah, you can see we actually have a battle for P3, because this is going to help me, or P2, sorry, the 72 car running down the 7 and 20 as the track goes to Greasy. Who is going to dive into the pits? The 781 is in the pit lane, but I'm not seeing anyone else go into the pits. Is our race leader going to go into the pits when they get around this time? I saw last time they decided to pass up on it. But with heavy rain bearing down on us, but then another dry spell, a lot of cars, if you look on the mini-map, a lot of cars are electing to stay out. So some very bold strategies by some of these guys. Let's see, you know, if it pays off for anyone or if it is tears for some of our front runners.
I suppose at the moment it's still greasy and not wet or flooded, so there is still a dry line that they can use. So there is the possibility, but it does mean if you catch up with anybody, especially if you're catching up with a back marker, there realistically
yellow
isn't
flag
anywhere.
Out of Maggots and Beckett's. Sorry for cutting you off there. It's the 26
It's the 26.
The 26 car was completely off the track there. Let's go ahead and get a quick little replay, because it looked like they were way off the track now. Looking at the 30-second replay and going through the left and through the final portion of Maggots and Beckett's. What happens here? Just too early on throttle? Yeah, oh, a little bit of grass, and that car went right off.
Leader is in the pits.
Leader is in the pits. Thank you for that update. But into the sand trap. That's probably a good, 20 to 30 seconds lost. So that's exactly what will happen if you decide to stay out and it gets too bad.
Speaking of McLarens in the wets, by the way, Desert Penguin, the DSRT Sim Pro, he's got a drive-through penalty for track extension, so he's got to drive through. He's not even on the wets yet. I know he's down in 37th, but talk about going from bad to worse. Talk about McLarens in the wets. Nobody wants to bite on the Lando Norris mention. Okay, cool, but it's no, it's that's a disaster to get a drive through at this time when the track's just gone from greasy to damp and you're on dry tires.
Yeah, and the rain is now switching over to heavy rain, with it going to increase over the next 10 minutes. A lot of cars are staying out right now, with a few guys now diving into the pits, but our current race leader, the 720 and the 72 car, who overtook the lead from the Ferrari, still out on track, still out on those dry tires, but I think you got to put on the wets now. I mean, look how much rain's coming down. It'd be a bold move, as the 744 car might be struggling in the pits at the moment, considering there's a yellow flag in the pit lane, not something you see every day. But yeah, I think you got to put on the wet tires here at this point, because that track is getting wet and more wet every time around.
Yeah, you can see.
Good.
You can see the puddles starting to form, and actually, if you look at the weather, it's not just hard rain; it's hard rain plus. So, and even in that next 30, it's still double clouds at the moment, so it's cloudy. There's high chance that could just change into rain. So, like you were saying, if it was just going to be a 10-minute shower, you could get away with it. But at this point, it is not a 10-minute shower. It is a full-blown deluge. And actually, our guy that's out on pole went very, very deep into the penultimate turn in that McLaren. Now the wet really starting to affect him, I think. And he's being hounded by number 72 as well. Both of them into the pits, so they probably won't change positions. Car number 12, I keep seeing it flashing up as a yellow flag in the pits.
I did see that as well. Not sure what happened there. Oh, it's well just teleported for me.
Oh, yeah, he's out now. He's out on track. Oh, 117 is a yellow flag.
Oh, he's coming out of, oh my goodness me. Crew, yeah. Or club, I should say.
Yeah, that's the N7 car, isn't it? Scooby-Doo.
Yeah. The question for you, gentlemen, actually. So, as the weather changes over to the rain with a minus in the 10 minutes, by the way. We started this race with very little wind. Is one thing to mention, right? So the track temperature down to 24 degrees. It's not the coldest it's been throughout the entire race. And we started with about 1 kilometer wind. Now we're up to about 8 kilometer wind. Now I understand that it's also going to help dry the track a little bit more as we do go into even overcast conditions. But how much does the change in wind really affect conditions on the track when it's starting to rain and the track goes from that greasy to damp to wet status, and then also obviously as it comes out of the rain? I guess that's more tilted for Tim first.
Oh, well, I mean, are we on about real life or
no, ACC?
ACC. I mean, I'm not sure how the wind affects cars directly. It's not something I've ever noticed while driving, that the wind you never really feel sort of any like buffeting on the wheel or anything. My only thought is it just means that it can just change the weather faster. That wind, especially if it doesn't drop away, it means that you're more likely to get this more random weather. Oh, I've just noticed car number 213, which is Hyler. What team is that? He's just picked up a drive-through penalty. So I think those guys were fairly high up the grid, were they not? Or am I insane?
So higher up
that's
than half the field, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, that's PCDC.
That's the PCDC that's on the comeback trail. This is their second penalty now. Remember, they got caught up in the lap 1 incident. They went down to like P40, and now they've been on the drive back. P19, not bad, but we'll have to serve a drive-through.
Yeah, going to lose a little bit of time there. Another drive-through also for the 10 car as well. That is currently the 6th place runner in the silver class. Speaking of the silver class, Remy Papin now up into 8th. Doing a very good job for the Celtic Bromance car. The Skirt team having a very good race. But the 115 car with Rizzo in the car going a little deep with the 666 coming up the inside. But 115 car making some grounds, but they have just I won't even want to say an arm's width to the next car behind in class. They have like a mile ahead, but the 115 car, now coming into the pits. They might have been on slicks as the track goes wet. It is heavy rain, now light rain in 10 minutes, so I guess the gamble did not pay off for the 115 car. But I'm trying to figure out who's still on dries based off of lap times. I think the 117 car did a 2:45 the last lap. Is currently on for a 4-something, getting flashed by the car behind. So that might be one of the cars that took a gamble here, and it's not paying off for them because they are really slow coming out of Maggotts and Beckett's.
I've noticed a driver change as well for Clown Fiesta Esports. They've changed driver. It's now George Boothby behind the wheel of that Ferrari.
So Boothby now taking control of the
Yeah.
race lead once again as well. So the 869, not surprisingly. Go
His
Benny.
second stint, his second stint in the car. He started the race with the 869 and took the lead, and the 869 hasn't really looked back since. It's been in the lead pretty much wire to wire. But as the 199's off at Chapel.
The 199 currently running in. That's what's always gonna hurt me because we have
P35.
P35.
Yeah, he's spun out at Chapel. It looks like just under the wet conditions. He's still got to drive through the serve as well. So absolute just brutality on that car. But maybe the time to bring the livery talk back. Chinston and I think that's an absolutely fantastic green.
That is a really nice green. I mean, I like it a little bit more lime, and I mix it with the black. But that is by itself, that is a very nice green. Interesting, because it reminds me of something that would be good on like an Aston Martin, but they do it well on that Mercedes.
He said literally the same thing. That's exactly what he said as well.
Yeah.
Or no, he said a Bentley. I'm sorry, he said the Bentley.
Bentley.
I said the Aston. He said the Bentley. Yeah.
I mean, personally, I don't like the Bentley. I'm just not huge on the car. I know a lot of people like it, but you know, that's one of the cars I'm like I haven't driven because being an American, the steering wheel on the left side. So with having a car with it on the right side, I just, you know, I never took to it. But to put my opinion on the rain, I do have to agree with Tim though. Not the rain, sorry, the wind. It really just it doesn't affect the car, but it affects the weather. So with the wind speed staying higher, that means we might get more instances like what we're seeing now on track, where we had a little bit of rain roll in, but then it rolls out just as quickly as it came in. So I think that's what we're going to have to keep an eye on with the wind. As long as it stays high, you know, these drivers are going to have to be on their toes because you can't see more than 30 minutes out. So it's going to make strategizing your stints or whatnot really, really hard as we see the 199 come in to serve that drive-through penalty.
Was that drive-through penalty picked up after he spun off the circuit? Because I went back and watched the replay for that, and he actually went wide on the exit of Maggots, spun across the circuit, and then ended up facing the right way for the hangar straight, and so just trundled across the grass and then rejoined, so completely missed Beckett's and Chapel. And I wonder if that might have been his final track limit warning, because obviously he cut a huge portion of the circuit, although it was just a case of that was the best place to join safely. I wonder if maybe that just was a little bit too quick rejoining and it's given him the track limit warning, possibly? Or did he already have the drive-through before?
That's a good question. I definitely don't have the answer for it. I don't know if Benny does either. But
no.
I didn't see the red DT, and then I was going through spreadsheets and numbers trying to get the replay up and work out what had happened. And yeah, I think that actually might have been the reason he got the drive-through, was that spin. I'd say completely unintentional. Just a little bit of the wet catching him out, bit too much curb. Even the Mercedes struggling to handle this much wet over the curbs. I mean, and that thing's usually a monster for being able to take over the wet curbs. So
yeah. Interestingly enough, the battle for P2, Max Wotnia in the Gladshad Racing Tim is right on this tail of Mantis Povilaitis in the Slava Ukraini by BGR, the McLaren number 720. So the gap been slightly increasing, but these two, the 720 and the 72, are getting locked in a little bit of a tight battle here as they go around to start lap 104. And of course, it's allowed our race leader Boothby a 20.9 seconds. That's the largest lead of the race, gentlemen, from the 869, as they just continue to pull away and away. Boothby's been absolutely fantastic. He was actually I would say one of the favorites to put it on pole. It just came in less than a 10th, but absolutely shrugged it off by taking the lead in the first lap. Other thing to note is also the 501's been doing pretty well as well. That's beg your pardon, in P7. I'm trying to get around to him right now.
the Forza Italia team.
Yes, Lucian Prochinka doing very well as well. That 501, which fell off a little bit in the middle part of the race. Actually, they qualified. Where did they qualify? I'm trying to look at the spread. I'm having the dyslexia.
Ninth.
So they qualified 9th, yeah, and they fell down to I want to say almost like P20 after the crazy weather, and now here they are back in P7. So a nice improvement and a recovery from that team as well.
It's actually only a two-man team as well, isn't it? It's Yaroboski, who's one of the Tier 2 drivers, is their first driver, and then, as you said, Lucian is their second driver. So only 2 guys on that team, so taking a lot more of the load. That's a lot of laps to do on your own, isn't it? That's a long old stint. So these guys that are running 3 drivers, you can split it up equally quite nicely. You can sort of do a couple of hours or an hour at a time and break it up. But these guys in the 501 Ferrari, they've both got to sweat it out for a long old time, aren't they? 4.5 hours each they need to do today.
Yeah, that's definitely a lot of time driving. But the cool thing about having a 2-man team is that it just means more driving. And, that's a lot of fun, when you're doing these endurance events, as fun as it is to have a bigger team and, split up the workload, it's also a lot of fun to do like 4 or 5 stints in some of these races. Just because, a lot of these people just love driving. And frankly, it's what makes people happy. I know that's why I drive, and I'm sure the 2 of you as well. Whenever you drive, you're like, yeah, driving to have fun, and it's just more time driving, more time on track. It's got to be a lot of smiles right now from anyone. So, but yeah, 2-man team. There's a few 2-man teams in the grid as well, if I'm seeing it correctly. Actually, there's no more than just a few. If I'm right, it's looking like close to half of the grid is 2-man teams. So, yeah. Very impressive stuff. Also, I don't know about you guys, but I know on the spreadsheet that I have, it looks like I'm having trouble seeing where there's commas or whatnot, all with these driver teams. So,
yeah, I don't think it helps that some of the sort of the names are either usernames rather than real names, as I doubt Scooby-Doo is actually called Scooby-Doo.
Hey,
and the other bit is
where are you?
Names aren't necessarily sort of English or American English native names. So there's a couple of them in there that aren't necessarily the most easy to pronounce. I know lots of, if they end in a C, a lot of the times it's pronounced ch. So I think it's like, rather than Jokic, it's Jokic and things like that. So, but we love a challenge, and it's the first round of the season. Actually, speaking of that, obviously, Benikage, this is your first season with AOR. Am I correct in thinking this?
With ACC,
With
not
ACC,
necessarily AOR. Yeah, I did the F1 commentary last season, and also I used to race AOR way back in the day. And we're talking like F1 season 3, and we're in season 23 now, so a long time ago. So had a 9-year absence, but we're back, and this time we're not behind the wheel; we're behind the mic.
And how are you? It's a nice change. Are you glad you went with this decision?
I was gonna say I have no idea what it's like to be running a long stint. I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm messing with you guys, obviously. But no, it's fantastic. Endurance racing is an absolute it's just remarkable. It's something that's so marvelous that is very unmatched anywhere else in sport, I think. So I think it's fantastic to be a part of it.
And Fizzy, you normally commentate for AOR with on, is that AC and F1 that you normally do for us?
I normally do our F1. I've been doing it for a few seasons. So my ACC history has been, I drove in season 3 and then took a break, commentated in season 5. I did tier 2. So I had Rage and Safso in tier 1. I would step in for those races whenever they needed help. I did that for a full season, but then unfortunately, due to time commitments and the fact that at 2, 3 p.m. Eastern and Central, I'm at work nowadays, I was unfortunately unable to keep commentating. But it's great to see, a lot of you guys come in, because I stopped my ACC commentating when the likes of you and I believe Chintz, like that whole wave of commentators that we had come in around that season 6 kind of time. So that's what I had. I did my season, and then unfortunately was not able to continue. But I've done here and there stuff with the endurance stuff. I usually do I like to drive in these events because they are fantastic. But this time around, you know, I was just like, I don't really have the time to commit to the practice. So rather than holding one of the GOAT racing teams down by just being a slower driver on the team instead, I was like, you know, I would offer my services in the booth, and here we are. So love talking, you know, love commentating. My voice is certainly going to be dead 5 hours from now, but that is fun. Yes, there is a pit wall up. It should be connected. Assuming I have it connected to the right server, but I might have messed that up. So
I don't think it's not updated since the change. I don't think.
So I have to. In that case, I need to.
It's stuck on 85 laps, and I think we're at 10 or something like 111.
107, I think at this point. 107, 106 on the cusp between the two.
Yeah.
Okay, let me relog into it then, because I was having seems a little bit of issues connecting as well. So
it can be a bit of a wild beast, can't it? The old thingy. I can't think of the word. Pit wall.
Pit
My
wall,
goodness.
yeah.
Not get the word out at all. Then I just noticed, obviously, Concoli taken 41st position away from Goslin, who I think we are currently on board with on the stream. So that Bentley losing a position there. Not going particularly well for Goslin, actually. I think he's Goslin and Concoli. Oh, well, Concoli is definitely one of my tier 2 drivers. Obviously in the Sprint Cup series. Yeah, obviously you were saying about a large wave of new commentators coming in. Yeah, they actually put out within the AOR community, put out a request similar to they have done this time, saying if anyone was willing to come in and join. And yeah, a bunch of us were. I mean, I wasn't actually a community member at the time. One of my friends was racing, I think, in tier 7, and knew that I'd done a bit of commentating before when I was on back on the Xbox days. And he messaged and said, maybe you want to sign up. So, yep, signed up, put in, they had a little look at what I've been doing, and they seemed reasonably pleased. So that was a bonus. And I've loved it so far. The community's great. Everyone seems to get really involved. It's really nice. It's, I say, if anyone's thinking about joining, wants to join a decent community of racers, give AOR a shout. I believe the Discord link is in the description of the YouTube video, so click in there. The pit wall, when it's up and running, will be there. In the back end, they're trying to get it sorted, so give us 2 minutes and we will do our very, very best to get it all up and running. I'm also just trying to think. Little shout out to our sponsors, Driver61. They've a reasonably new sponsor for us. Really nice to see them. There's discount code as if you're part of the community, and again, links for that in the description. And also SIMSOKs, which all of this racing, all the hours these guys are putting in, is to win a pair of SIMSOKs. So just, and like we said, we've got some real big names here today. Like this isn't bottom of the barrel racers. This is the creme de la creme of racers, and they're doing all this work for their own enjoyment and to win a set of socks. So
absolutely, and I gotta say, Fizzy will let you know how fantastic those socks are. He actually swiped a pair.
I did, yeah. I got a pair of Sim socks. I mean, I use them whenever I drive right now. I love them. We'll be getting more of them. Got it gifted to me, and yeah, I absolutely love them. And I have the highest regards to them. They definitely help. I mean, I honestly, I race with socks normally, but having the little extra grip on them just makes it just a little bit better of driving. I felt like, I was able to control it a little bit because, so I know some people have sweaty feet. I don't have that issue, but, my foot would occasionally slip off of a pedal or something, make a slight mistake, and, there goes a little bit of time, but, they're really comfy, they're really grippy, and yeah, so I would highly recommend that you get your fiance, significant other, or your own wallet, and have them go ahead and get you a pair, or get yourself a pair or two, and use it for racing because, man, they are awesome.
Quick update, by the way. Janis Purvis has gotten around. Looks like he got around the car in 36, I believe. That's Patrick Janosiewicz. He is actually lost the position, I should say, to Toninsky down in 40th position. but Toninsky had to serve a drive-through, which he just got done serving. There is also a drive-through for car number 326. That's the BMW in P23. Paolo Saraval. He is that's the Lu BMW Pazzito. He has to serve a drive-through as well. I am going to butcher names, so apologies. Tim, you probably know better than me, but nonetheless, move actually back up here, by the way, for P16. Hack is under a lot of pressure from Hamling, who's gone on the inside. Now he's on the outside here towards Luffield, and he can't get by the PCDC of Hack, and he's got to be careful because Hyla, that 213, still on the comeback trail, had such good pace, is absolutely itching to get by these cars. You remember Hyla had the drive-through penalty on that 213, served it, dropped to 20th, is now back up to 16th, and is now back up to 18th, I beg your pardon. He's got 17th and 16th in sights here, and maybe Hyla makes a move coming out of Stowe. We'll see. Definitely don't want to make it going into Maggots and Beckett's, though, I will say that.
Oh, you're saying about Hamling, he is actually now sandwiched by the two PCDC Motorsport cars. Or PCDC, yeah, it is the Motorsport, isn't it? Yeah, PCDC Motorsport, that's both their cars, either side of it. So even, well, when Hyla makes it past Hamling, I would imagine then that that 500 car, that Hack is just going to let him go. If, you know, you've seen how much pace Hyla has today. So at the moment, that Mercedes is a bit of a cork in the bottle for Hyla, and as soon as he gets past, I would imagine he'll gain 2 positions pretty quickly. Oh, trying to go around the outside of the chicane, looking at here now. He's going to have the inside. A little bit of a rub, but yes, he has made it past Hyla, has made it past Hamling. There was a slight nudge, but I don't think it was anything too malicious. So that's it. Both PCDC Motorsports cars are now running directly behind each other on circuit. So, yep.
Another update, by the way. The rain's obviously stopped. We're in partially cloudy, or partially sunny conditions, I should say. Now, the wind's also increased a little bit, and the track temperature has come up 2 conditions. Also down to damp. So it was wet. It's now damp, and I expect it to go from damp to greasy very shortly. As yeah, nice move, like you said, on the inside, and it's gone from bad to worse for Hamling. Hamling's kind of been stuck there around P16 to P18 territory. Done very well to defend the positions, but eventually has given them up to the PCDC Motorsports cars, which their third and final sister car, Mr. Marcus Lawrence, is trying to defend against the BMW of Daniel Pasch for P4 right now.
Now that is... what is that car? That's Aston Martin versus BMW. It does look like... I was a bit worried that this season we were just going to see a sea of BMWs and McLarens. So it's good to see that the most recent BOP update and change has balanced everything out quite nicely. You've got a really nice mix of cars. Really nice mix. We do have one Porsche. I can definitely see there's at least one Porsche in here, car number 95. There's an Audi in here, a couple of Bentleys. So good to see a nice mix of everything in here.
There's only one Audi, one Porsche, one Lamborghini, and there's even one in the field as well.
What was that last car? Sorry, I missed out what that last word you said.
A Lexus.
Oh, there is a Lexus.
Yeah, down in P30, so...
Okie dokie. I haven't yet seen that one. Quick one. Look how quickly Hyla is catching the back of that other PCDC Motorsport car. He's catching up with Hack incredibly quickly. So really can show the difference in pace for those two teams. It's the same team, but the difference in pace between those cars. I mean, fantastic drive, like you said, from Hyla, obviously making his way back up through with that team.
Yeah, it's just look, I know the start of the race is never one you want to take damage on, right? It's never one that you want to take. I mean, then again, like, when do you want to take damage on a car, right? Usually never, but nonetheless, it's a sign that you never really want to give up. You never ever want to give up, not in anything in life, but obviously, you know, especially when you have so much of the race left. You know, we're not even towards the halfway point here We're still a half hour off from that as the 180's gone for a spin. It looks like actually, hold that thought, because the 180 in the back has spun around. That is Nathan Pearson, P11, is lost 3 positions with a spin coming out of, I believe, Stowe, that is. And he's gone around and lost 3 positions in that Redline Zach racing car.
I don't think it was a spin per se. Looking at the replay, I think he might have accidentally shut off his engine, just gone right off the track, because he came to a complete stop in the gravel trap there. So might have been not necessarily a spin, but they might have accidentally hit the engine off. I know I've done that before. I've had teammates done it before, and you know, when you're running in the top 10, it's not something you want to do, but it's something that can always happen. And now they lost probably about half a minute as a result. So
do you want to see? Just to interrupt. Do you want to see what happened with the? I believe that's the 46 of Stockton. He got really slow coming out of. Looks like, I want to say that's Abbey, and we have seen quite a few cars really get tied up at Abbey. Pierce is actually going to dive on the inside. Oh, Stockton's going around again. So the 46 has just spun around. He's got caught up, and then also I believe the 81, but the 81 was so far, the 87 I should say, but down in P43, but still, yeah, Stockton losing quite a few positions because he is having trouble holding onto the vehicle.
So
did you say car 87 had an issue? Because I've just I saw he had a yellow flag a little while ago, and I jumped on it, and yeah, it would have been Aintree coming onto Wellington Straight. He looked like he seemed to be very, very slow coming off the exit of the corner, and had the Lexus went round it, nearly rear-ended him actually, and then I managed to go round, and then it looked on the service screen, it looked like he was a meter or two in front, and then suddenly the BMW, the Bentley, just spun immediately sideways, as if it had been struck. So whether or not there's maybe some netcode issues going on there, because it doesn't look like the smoothest car to watch back.
No, the 7. We're seeing quite a few cars go around. Dylan Gosling in the Project Remembrance, the P40, the Bentley number 7. He's just going around as well. Again, it's that kind of Abbey area that's catching a lot of cars out. And yes, it was I believe the 87. There's also the 28 down at P45 has been given a drive-through penalty. That's Ostracharge, the Simulation Esport GT3 M4, has been given a drive-through penalty as well. So I think these tracks, it says damp, but gentlemen, I think it's starting to dry out because we're starting to see a lot of cars struggle for grip here.
Yeah, that incident with Gosling, he had collision in turn 1, wasn't it, with a Mercedes. It was a little bit of a rub, and then they came together again as they exited, and actually they both spun right in front of our leader, I believe that was George Boothby. Yeah, I think that was, yeah, it was supposed to be last lap. I'm sure it's a Ferrari with the exact same livery as Boothby. So that was very, very close. I think that could have nearly been the leader taken out. I missed the number on the side of the Ferrari in question, but I don't think there's another Ferrari out there with the exact same livery.
No, but that's the second time that's happened to Boothby this race, where cars have just spun out right in front of each other, or right in front of him. So I don't know what he's had for lunch or for breakfast, but the man's probably driving in the Matrix right now. And is that take a look at the car 45, by the way, Dennis Strelnikov in the Crazy File Racing. Is that damaged? I think I see a ton of damage on the side of this car.
Ooh, yeah, there's a couple of guys going off there, isn't there? I think it's car number 744, who is currently running in...
Ooh, that's a lot of damage on the heart attack car.
Look at the penalties down on the bottom of the order, too. Januszewicz, the car number 760. P36, he's got a drive-through. Levchenko in 744, he's got a drive-through, and we just had 2 stop-go penalties. Saltsnov in P41, and Ostracharge has been upgraded from a drive-through. He came in to serve his drive-through, and he sped in the pit lane and got a stop-go 30-second penalty. So it goes from bad to worse.
Oh, that is just heartbreaking to see. Apologies for being a little quiet. There, I was trying to see if I can connect to the pit wall. For some reason, I'm having some uplink status issues. So once that gets back up, we should be okay. I am connected to ACC, not sure what it is, trying to get in contact with the pit wall team. But in the meantime, we have a yellow flag. It says the 6 car is a yellow flag, but I believe they are in the pit lane right now. So yeah, they're just chilling in the pit. So not sure why we're seeing a yellow flag there. But yeah, I think, Benny, you summarized it before when we first came into the booth an hour ago. You were like, yeah, been a lot of collisions, and I think it's still been happening. So it seems like some of these drivers may be struggling with the conditions, struggling holding on to their car. But sometimes it's the nature of it. Drivers are getting penalized for it as a result. And right now we have P2 into the pits.
We've just had either a disconnect or a quit. That was car number 744, which was Arthur Levchenko behind the wheel at the time. That BMW, I saw a yellow flag pop up. It's been carrying a lot of damage for quite a while now. They drove into the pits, and I think actually he may have sped into the pits because he came across the pit line pretty squirrely and a bit out of control, hammered the brakes on, came to a complete stop just past the line, and then teleported to his pit box, and now he appears to have left the server. So whether or not that's a bit of a case of they've just decided at this point, they were far down the grid anyway, they didn't think there was any coming back from it, but they had 5 hours left to go.
Yeah.
So they could have kept it going. I was like, you know, a lot of these are going to be, it's a race of attrition, this one.
We have a stewards update, by the way. We've had 3 stewards rulings just come across the ticker, the 808 and the 87. 10-second time penalty for the 87 for causing a collision. So the 87, I'm trying to see where that is on the grid. 87, that is Vasilev. He's at T37. The 46 and 760, the stewards deemed no further action, but have decided to warn car 760 to take care of rejoining the track in a safe manner. And then we had an incident with the 199 and the 45 and the I'm gonna have to get a clarification from the stewards because it says 199 and 45, 15 seconds time penalty for car 15. So I don't know the car. We'll have to get a clarification from the stewards, but a 15-second time penalty is probably coming through the pipeline.
I think that's going to be for car 45 because I don't think we have a car 15 on the grid. I see a 16. I don't see a 15, but the 45 is diving into the pits right now with the Crazy Fly Racing team, who was running at P8 as it stood. So it would be unfortunate if they are the ones actually getting the penalty, but you know, that was a lot of damage on the 199 car.
Oh, everybody pouring into the pits now. The track gone greasy. A whole bunch of people coming in there. Second place runner, car number 72, that's jumped in. Who else have we got? Car number 45, Strelkanov, they're in. Pierce, 180, they're into the pit as well. I mean, everyone's pouring in now. Obviously, the temperature just getting up, and obviously that wetness disappearing from the circuit, and it just means that that's it. Those slicks are going to be overheating and probably undrivable at this point.
Definitely going to be overheating. I'm going to keep working on the pit wall, so I'll be right back keeping the cams going, but I'll let you guys keep talking.
I was going to say, do you want to take it for like 5-10 minutes? I can get up, stretch the legs, busy.
If you want to put me on someone else, I'm happy to fill for a minute. That's all good. If maybe you could, because at the moment, who are we with? He's
I mean, I'm good to change the cameras at the moment. So you're good there.
Can we have a look at 13th position, please?
13th position, the 500 of Adam Dubiel.
Yep. He is only half a second off the back of Hack, or that's when it last updated itself, although that now it looks like Hack's in the pit. So what's going on with the timing screen? Who even knows anymore? But anyway, we're on board with the 500 car. Beautiful livery. Wait, are we on board with the car? No, we're not. Who are we on board with? Let's have a little look. I do apologise. I've got my own screen on the go as well, so I'm watching one screen as the stream goes out as another. Yes, we are. We are on board with Dubiel. So he's actually coming up on a... Who is that in front of him? The old screen is taking a little bit of time to update itself, the timing screen. The pits always make it throw a little bit of a wobbly. So that's kind of a 666 in front of him, who is currently running in... he's down in 25th place, so that is a back marker, and actually, moves off of line, and it appears to be letting Dubiel through. Yes, he is. Oh, goodness. DeBell threw it right across the front of that car to try and maintain the optimum racing line. Gets it done. That was very, very aggressive throw across. Our pole man, Boothby, into the pits as well at the moment. A couple more guys in there. Car 101 just leaving the pits. But DeBell is pushing on nice and fast. And look how much drier that circuit looks. So much drier than it did earlier. I mean, I cannot see any moisture at all. Obviously, just up to greasy at the moment. So there's still a little chance that these guys could make a mistake. I say, especially in some of these mid-engine cars when they're trying to run the curbs. I mean, obviously, this is the tippity top of driving, so they know what they're doing pretty well. But still, as they now come through Woodcott, and he's about to start another flying lap. So just trying to look at who is in front of him. So the next car for him is car number 45, who actually has just picked up a 15-second penalty as well. So that is a massive bonus because that takes down, well, he's only 18 seconds behind Strelkanov. So even without the time spent driving into the pits and leaving again, that 15 seconds pretty much completely gets rid of that advantage that 10th place has over him. So that'd be really good if he can do anything with it. Just having a little look across the rest of the field, if we can see any really close battles. As always with these endurance races, there are periods of time where everyone kind of just splits up a fair bit. Oh, I did just see in the chat, I do apologise, I think it came through quite a while ago, was Go Konovanov, and sadly I think he was the teammate of the BMW that we saw quit out a little bit earlier, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I think he was teammate with Levchenko, so sorry about that in the chat, but yeah, I'm afraid that car has left the server. He is no longer with us. I did see him carrying quite a lot of damage, and then obviously I think he picked up a little bit more again. Someone might have just disconnected there, or what's going on? Something's gone weird.
Yeah, my stuff is going completely haywire at the moment. So again, do apologize. For some reason, my broadcasting client can't even connect anymore. So again, do apologize. As Tim's internet did just go down. So I will keep chatting at the moment. We keeping an eye on the 500 car of Adam Dubiel while we get things squared away. So well, hang tight, folks. We might have to quickly relaunch something. So
Apologies.
You're back, Tim. Good to hear you.
Yeah, I'm back in the Discord. Yeah, this is why I'm not actually doing any streaming for anybody at the moment, because for some reason my internet, since we had Big Storm Eunice in the UK, has been absolutely horrific. And normally when you go online and you check for outages, it will say, you know, it might say your kind of area of the country, but actually there's a great big asterisk over my exact town saying there's internet issues. So yeah, apologies that I cut out in the middle of talking then, but it's all the cars disappeared through the floor and then everything froze. So yeah, apologies.
Yeah, so while you had that happen, I'm going to reconnect to the server because my broadcasting client was not even connecting as well. So not only is the pit wall for some reason not uploading correctly, it's not connecting to it, my broadcasting client decided that it was going to bug out on me. And yeah, not sure what was going on there on my end, but I am going to just relaunch my game. hopefully have it squared away. I currently have the ACC cover on, so do apologize for this quick little outage, folks, but Tim is still at least in the lobby and able to give a little bit of a radio call for the next minute or
I can
so.
do a bit of radio for you, and don't worry, it happened for me as well in previous seasons where I had it where I couldn't get the broadcasting client to work, and I couldn't get anything to connect. So we've all been there. It does happen from time to time. So I'm sure everybody at home will forgive you for that. And if they don't, well, you know what? We can't see them, so never mind. So just getting myself back in and everything working lovely. Has that sorted itself? Yes, it has. Right, while we're here, and we've got a little bit of just radio play, I'll have a quick read through the grid as it stands with 4 hours and 50 minutes left of the race. So currently on pole is Samir Foch, currently running in pole position in the 869 Ferrari. Then in second place is the 720 car, and that is Mantis Povolatis. Running in second place. Actually, he's done really well since the last set of pit stops, and that wet weather really did give him an advantage. Then in third position, we have Max Wushitna. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that differently. Wushitna, we'll go for. He's running in the number 72 car, and that's the Aston Martin. Marcus Lawrence running in fifth. That's car number 12. In fact, let's have a little shrink that down and we can see the team names. Let's quickly run through the team names. So we've got Cloud Fiesta Esports in first. Then we've got Slava Ukraine in second. It was Big Chad Racing in third. PCDC Motorsport in fourth position. So then we've got Dennis Latz in fifth position in the Van Wall SimSport BMW, car number 57. And then Andy Vandervelde running in sixth place in the sister Van Wall SimSport car. That's car number 58. Then down in seventh place we have Lucian Proshinka. He is car number 501.
All right, we do have the live feed over as well, so I'll see if I can keep with the cars, because I do want to also go through some of these liveries as well and admire some of their work momentarily. But carry on as you go. Pit wall's still struggling, but at least I have my broadcasting client up, and we do have the stream and
that's the most important bit. As we can let you know about lap times and bits and pieces here. Actually, in the broadcasting client, it gives you a little bit of the info, but apologies if for any reason it's not working. Actually, I have just noticed that my chat is no longer connected, so let's reconnect the chat as well before I carry on. Don't want anyone to miss anything. There we go. It's back.
Well, the stewards clarified, by the way, as I'm sure you're on your screen, or it's on your screens, that it is car 45. Strelnikov, the McLaren, with a 15-second time penalty, and also there's been a stop-go for Benz in the P30 444 BMW.
That's P44. Goodness, that's
one of the GOAT Racing. That's the other GOAT Racing car now being slapped with a penalty. So both GOAT Racing cars have had the penalty, and they're running P30 and P31, mind you.
Obviously, GOAT Racing is GOAT Racing. That's the one with Ersk, isn't it? One of our coordinators.
Yes,
that's the big boss. That's who we answer to. So yeah, not going the best for them, sadly. I'll carry on through the grid, shall I, a little bit? What did I get to? I got to 8th place was Vorjak Ratajzak, running in 8th position in the Silver Racing Team X Euro Wash car. Then car number 77, which is Celtic Bromance, being driven by Jura Brizdic at the moment. Then we've got Denis Strelnikov down in 10th place, and actually, yeah, that's that car number 44. 45. We were just saying about this. Picked up the 15-second penalty. Then car number 500, which is Adam Dubel. He's a really quick driver, and he is with the Forza Italia racing car, and quite obviously with that very, very Italian livery. The only way it could be more Italian is if the wheels were pizzas. Nathan Pierce, who is running in 12th place, car number 180, and this is... Well, I'm actually really struggling to read that name. Is it Redenzek Racing? Am I being blind? I think I'm just being very blind.
I'm going with Redline Zach, but that's very American.
No, you are probably right. It's just I've got my screen slightly smaller than I normally would because I've got loads of other bits and pieces up on the screen to try and make sure I'm watching all things at once. So yeah, no, you're probably right. It probably is Redline. That would make a lot more sense than the complete drivel that I took out.
Tim, I'm gonna cut you off real quick. I'm gonna have to restart the stream real quick because I have to restart my PC. I'm trying to get the pit wall up for everyone since I know a lot of people use that information. So we're gonna get the stream going back up in about 3 minutes while I restart my PC. So if you can just hang tight, we'll get it back going. I do apologize for this abrupt cutoff here, but I'll get it back up going in just a minute. I'm gonna restart my computer. We'll get the stream back up going, and we'll let you carry through the grid once again. Is that okay with you?
No, absolutely fine. Do what you need to do. I say we've still got 4 hours and 45 minutes left of the race, so we'll catch up with it back at the end. Quick one, you may need to schedule another stream, like a part 3. So, guys, if you're with us and watching now, keep an eye on the AOR YouTube site. We will go live again. Just obviously at the minute we've got some technical issues. It does happen sometimes. Obviously the PC's being pushed really hard to run this long and show everything in streaming. It's a massive draw. So yeah, no worries, Fizzy. Do what you need to do.